Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Quadcom minus 2 plus 1. Kasi kahapon ka
Nalito ka
naman
na,
eh.
no?
I-chop-chop ko na lang kayo, salami slice ko kayo. Mamaya na ulit si Attorney Falsis naman next. Para na chop-chop naman. Um, ang dami natin
Welcome
pag-usapan.
back, everyone. Dito sa latest episode
May
ng
one second.
Quadcom
Tanggalin ko na.
Minus.
May ano may mukhang may ano na bail na, pero yung isa mukhang warrant of arrest na, medyo kino-confirm na. So maraming mga exchange program nangyari ngayon. And then of course, by some coincidence naka-pink tayo kasi I thought biglang nagana sa aking feeds yung mga massive events back in 2022, at of course doon nagsimula itong kaibigan natin si Kristan as a political vlogger extraordinaire. So, my goodness, bro. Alam ko parati tayo nagkasama, ang daming pag-usapan, but this is really next level. Magsimula muna tayo sa ating mga ating National Geographic level, Netflix level expose. Ano yan yung nakita ko? Yun na yun yung trailer nila. Why 300 million daw?
Alam mo, ano lang as para sa akin first of all, ginamit nila yung mukha namin ni Falsis, ni Nico David, ni Patty Bao. Dapat may royalty kami dito.
Oo, may
At saka, hindi man lang naghingi ng permission, di ba, Richard? Pambihira naman. Yung gagawa ka lang ng expose. And for the people that don't know, hindi natin pwede pakita, Richard, siguro. Baka wag na lang muna to be safe lang, ano? Pero pambira naman kasi itong expose na to. Walang pinakita, para siyang, kumbaga parang in-expect mo explosion, granada. Nakuha mo supot. Ganun nakuha mo eh. Wala. Ganun lang. Wala. Kaya tingin ko pinagtawanan niya ni Martin Romualdez at sinabi siguro, ganun o sige nga, extortion tayo o sige, eto, pakita ko sa inyo kung anong ginagawa nyo. Yari sila ngayon.
Uy, but naka-bail naman silang lahat, mga ating mga atenista na kaibigan, nakalusot naman. 120,000 lang bail, napaka-chipang naman for 300 million.
Alam mo, normally nga ang bail is priced according to the actual amount of the extortion, which is weird that it was 120 o sabi natin 120 times 5 o 600,000 for 300 million. That's not, what is that? 0.1, 0.5%, not even 1%, di ba? So 300 million, 30 million, 3 million. Oh yeah, wow, shoots. Sorry, 0.2%. Sus, Mario Joseph. Naka-silent ka,
Yeah,
Richard.
it was actually even smaller than that. Pero yun kasi legit naman yung entrapment, di naman siya triggered. So legal
Yeah.
siya. Pero kasi hindi siya heinous crime, hindi siya murder, hindi siya kidnap. So talagang the bail not tends to be not that high. So baka naman gumagana yung business model na ganun, go for gold. At most magbabail ka lang ng 100,000, pwede ka na makalusot.
Tsaka, at saka Richard, di ba the penalty for, hindi talaga extortion yung crime eh. Yung crime is robbery via extortion. So, pag tinignan mo, parang 6 years lang up to 12 years, parang ganun lang yan. It's ridiculous. Extortion, di ba, should be higher, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, there has to be kasi it encourages it incentivizes certain behavior. Kung mababa lang yung yung punishment mo, assuming mahuli ka pa at makonvict ka pa, it actually encourages itong mga, hindi ko allegedly mga collect kind of quote unquote journalism or anything like that. I mean, to be fair, hindi pioneers to mga kaibigan natin dito. This has been going on for a long time. Medyo next level lang kapal moks yung ibang kaibigan natin, at sabi nga nila, ang tunay na lalaki hindi nahuhuli. So, hindi ko alam anong nangyari. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But I didn't mean it in a toxic masculinity way. I just mean it, if you go for gold, dapat pro ka. But going back to this, bro, can you remind everyone, by the way, thank you yung mga kailangan namin sabihin ni Francis. Ako, grabe, tagal na ako tinitira ng mga mani na yan eh. But what is the context? Kasi si Jess, Attorney Falsis admitted na actually kinukuha rin pala siya doon. So ba't ikaw ba kinukuha? Kasi ako hinahamon ako parati doon. Ako hindi ko pinapatulan. Pero ikaw rin kinukuha ka ba? Like Attorney Falsis?
No, not at all. No way. Kasi you know why? She will never ask because he knows I will say no. Alam mo, may nagtanong sa akin, ano, bakit parang galit na galit daw si Mabanta sa akin? Okay? I'll tell you, it's easy. Because Franco Mabanta knows I know who he is. Alam ko lahat ng baho niya. Alam ko kung sino siya as a person. Kumbaga, unmasked siya pagdating sa akin. He knows when I look at him, I see the real him. And he hates that. That I don't see the charming, charismatic, lovable guy that, people think he is, or at least the ones that nabubudol pa niya. Kaya naiinis siya doon. He hates that he cannot control me kasi our other common friends, by the way, that parang bilib na bilib sa kanya o kaya gives him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry, I don't. And I'm not plastic about it. I'm not mean to him. We bumped into each other. He was, "Hi Chris, how are you?" "I'm good." Ganun, ganun lang. But he's not my friend. So parang after everything is done, parang what do we have to talk about, di ba? Ganun lang. Kaya nakaka-irrita yun sa kanya, being a narcissist and being a psychopath. Add those two personality traits together. Makikita mo why it bothers him when somebody can see the real Franco Mabata. It's almost like he's stripped naked in front of me kaya siya naiinis.
Di pa ako nag-lunch, so let's not ruin my appetite. Habol ko pa si Sir Ronald mamayang gabi, so magla-lunch muna ako after this. No, but going back to this, just to be clear, of course, I think people know the context ng interaction ko with sa kanya, which was in a very limited window, and that was yung before lahat kayo pumapatol sa mga DDS, ako yung nag-debate 2019, no? So this is at the height of Duterte power and all. Sabi ko, someone has to debate these idiots, basically, right? And call them. And nakataon, no one wants to help from our side and camp. And here was Mabanta. And ako naman, I'm very confident guy. Andiyan pala si Attorney Falsis. I'm very confident guy. Sabi ko, walang problema. Let's go. Let's organize it. And within that context, that was my interactions with him, di ba? And as everyone knows, one-off lang yun. Hindi ko na inulit yan. There were other people who wanted to debate. They wanted to make this thing, this political and whatever. Despite all the backlash and attacks on me, I still did it. Pero sabi ko, I'm a pro. I'll do it for one time. One-off, that's it, move on na ako, di ba? So, that was the context of my interaction. So, hindi ko dinideny na I interacted with these guys in the context of my debate. And this was, I'm proud, that was at the height of the Duterte power. Sila yung nasa poder. The whole crowd was them. All of them were there. At kudos kay Attorney Falsis, actually, was one of the few guys, the good guys, no, na kasama ko. Kasi mayroong part na one-on-one, tapos grupo, mga ganun. So, medyo trying hard, pretentious, American style, mga Tucker Carlson style, ganon. But I'll tell you what, I think in terms of yung audacity, right, in terms of yung kapal moks, let's give it to the guy. I mean, he was willing to do things that very few people were willing to do, and that was this kind of, I'm not talking about the dodgy part, I'm talking about the semi-dodgy part, which is this kind of hype politics, this kind of a grifter style, this and this and that. And I think that made me realize, wait lang, bakit sila lang they're the only player in town, di ba? Where are the other people? So, kaya masaya ako na nandyan si Ronald Llamas kasi kasi yun yung version natin na yung nag-hype and all, embellished and all. Pero for good cause naman yung kay Ronald. So, that's how much I know. But in that little window that I got to know this guy, I think I saw enough. I saw him enough. I don't know, bro, what is your interaction with him? Kasi ako, I'm a very fast talker. I know, I'm a kind of a strong personality, to put it mildly. Pero he out-talked me a couple of times. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, and I don't mean it in a, so, where's this energy coming from, bro? Kaya, naka-ano ba to? Naka-Red Bull
I
ba to?
wonder. I think a little bit stronger than Red Bull. So, I mean, if you've had a Coke, kahit Coke Zero, sabihin na natin, di ba nakaka-hype yung yung pag iniinom mo yun, di ba? Talagang, yeah, ganun ka, di ba? Yeah, yeah. And remember, he is the poster boy of Coke, the soft drinks, by the way. So,
kasama ang Globe dyan kasi parang may load pa yata siya doon.
ayan. So, pag ganun talaga, wala tayong magagawa. So,
So where does this leave it? I mean, I don't know. So official na pala kay CJ Hero din na Hero to Zero ba? Meron ng meron ng person of interest na yun, so warrant of arrest na rin siguro ba yan?
No, no, not, not,
Hindi siya ano lang. Oo.
no, not a warrant of
Subpoena lang
arrest.
pala,
Invite,
subpoena lang.
yes, yes. Oo. Pag hindi siya sumipot, baka warrant of arrest yan. Pero until mangyari yun, at this point, it's just a subpoena. But at the same time, remember, na nakalaya na nga yung 5. So I think the NBI is really playing it very carefully. But remember, kagaya na sinabi ni NBI Director Melvin Matibag na yung bago nila ginawa tong entrapment, they made sure that all I's were dotted and all T's were crossed. There is enough evidence with sufficiency for conviction. Yan ang klaro yan, yan ang mandato nila. So they're very confident with what they have.
Okay, bro. Kasi ang trato ko sa investigative vlogger eh. Kasi ganda ng mga breakdown mo ng mga hearings and all of that. Eto na, we're like 3-4 days removed from the situation. Although parang we knew about it ahead of lumabas sa media kasi
Yeah.
a couple of celebrity friends were calling me, ano nangyari, ganun. And then I went dun sa group natin, oh shoot, we have this. Pero wala pa sa media. Next morning pa lumabas. So some of my
Yep.
friends were ahead of the game. Sabi ko, ito. Pero bro, to the degree that we know what on earth really happened, now that siguro medyo mas clear na yung mist. Kasi there's so many competing theories what happened there. Kaninong pera, 75 million ba talaga yan? Like, bakit nandun sa Manila Pen ba yan? Tapos wala sa doon. To the degree that we know, bro, can you give us chronological breakdown? Sorry, kasi I think hindi pa rin nafa-follow ng tao ano ba yung detalye nito. So to the degree we know from open sources, or maybe in your case, more than open sources, what happened?
Yeah. So if you think about it, everything was detailed by the media, all media. Kasi in-invite ng NBI yung media to be there to witness the whole thing. So andun sila with the cameras and everything. So from the meeting at Manila Pen, yun na, meron na silang mga hidden cameras. From Manila Pen, ayaw niya tanggapin yung pera, nakalagay sa duffel bag yung 50 million. Sabi niya, wag daw, maraming mga CCTV dito. Padala mo, may tatawag sa'yo, ganyan. Or may tatawagan ka, Jimmy, si ganon, si ganyan. Okay. Then, when they started going na to Valle to drop off the money, tinatawag, then you see that yung kumalat nga na voice call, di ba? With Franco's voice on it. And trust me, with Franco, you can tell with his tics and nuances that it's Franco. Yung paano siya magsalita. And yung that nervous, nagmamadali, not listening to the other person kind of a way of speaking. And then from there, nakita yung dalawa na nakamask, exacto as he described them. You saw in the hidden cam, the delivery of the maletas na binigay yung dalawang bags. They brought it inside and the NBI was just going to arrest the two, whoever received it. So nung hinabol nila, pagpasok sa loob ng room, nagulat sila, nakita nila si Franco doon. And they're like, oh, jackpot! Oo. So yun, the guns drawn, of course, kasi you don't know with these guys, baka may baril yung mga yun, di ba? And then nakita nila yung mga maleta, ando doon nga, the camera showed it, and then you saw they were planning to transfer it to 2 other suitcases. Tapos yun, tapos na posasa na sila, read their rights, and all the media was there, and I'll tell you what the one thing I always I keep talking about this yung pag tinignan mo yung demeanor ni Franco, you look into his eyes. There's this emptiness with the eyes. I'm always particular about the emptiness eh. That's a psychopath. Ronald and I were talking about it. Yung tao na wala siyang konsepto ng tama o mali. Walang ganun. For him, this is all a game. And being a narcissist, he is he is bathing in all this attention. He loves it. Tuwang-tuwa siya that the entire Philippines is talking about him. Alam mo, a narcissist like that hates it when he's not being talked about. When people don't make him relevant. Oo, kung irrelevant, that'll kill him. Kaya, yung mga banat niya sa atin was meant to get a reaction para pag-usapan natin. He loves this right now that we're talking about it. Trust me, he will watch all and read all of the things about him. Him. He will do that. Tonight, he's at home na. He's watching everything, reading all the news. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, so yun. Yan ang pagkatao nitong si Franco. And I don't say that to try to insult him. I'm saying it to just paint the picture of who he really is. Not to bash him, it's just the reality of things. Ganong klaseng tao talaga ang si Franco kasi narcissist talaga yan eh.
Ako, well, first of all, bakit siya biglang lumitaw doon?
Ay,
Hindi niya trust yung mga kasi may isa pang theory na para may internal ano sila incongruities na lang sabihin natin, dissensus to be technical about it.
well, when you're talking about 70 million, Richard, sometimes yung first time mo makakuha ng ganyan klaseng kalaking pera siguro, ganyan yung first time niya na parang big payday. Syempre, hindi mo mapagkakatiwalaan yung mga kasama mo, baka mag-try-duran kayo dyan, di ba? Hindi mo alam eh. So, ito pa yung isa idadagdag ko dito, that when, this is not the first time Franco's extorted money from people. Allegedly, dahil even before I became a political vlogger, pag tinignan mo nga yung thread nung post ni Quark Henares, makikita mo doon mga kwento ng mga kababaihan na nag-extort si Franco ng pera allegedly, okay, so that he won't expose their nudes. Parang ganon. May mga nakasama siyang girls, tapos video ba niya o pinicture daw niya na hindi nila alam, tapos he tried to extort. Allegedly, yan ang kwento na narinig ko. I don't know this personally. It was a story told to me by a very reliable source. Friend of the actual girl. Parang ganon. And not one girl, not two, several. And he's done a lot of slimy things according to these people. And if you look at the people on Quark's thread, ito yung these are the who's who of Philippine the lifestyle world. Okay? These are big names there. And makita mo yung kwentuhan nila, nakakagulat talaga.
Wow, yeah.
I,
I was about to say, let's move on to less, ano, and then sabi ko,
yes.
next pala si Bato and Sarah, and like, it doesn't get better. But, okay, ganito, I'll just be very clear about it. And I don't mean it in a kind of a snob way. Pero let's be honest, Digong was, di ba nagka-trending ngayon yung picture ni Digong, itong kaibigan natin, at saka si Harry Roque sa likod, parang,
Yep.
ganun.
Nakukulangot.
Exactly. Let's be honest, I think when Digong won, and we can see that with Trump also, nag-open yung floodgates. Sabihin na natin sa mga tao na who would have never made it in a normal, let's just say legit way. So, feeling ko, I mean, hindi lang naman itong tao na to, di ba? Ang daming ba dyan na biglang naging super vlogger. Of course, alam natin there were bots involved, there was artificial, there was inflation of falling, may makinarya. But nevertheless, ito yung mga tao who are willing to do it di ba? Ito na yung mga Team C na lang tawag natin sa kanila, Team B. At sabi nga ni Leloy Cloud, yung kaibigan natin from Berkeley, sabi niya, revenge of the B class or something like that. So, no offense sa B class, by the way. Magaling B class na kilala ko. Napansin mo, may pagkaganon din and it's interesting. And then next thing you know, BBM naging presidente pa. So siguro nag-isip sila, wait lang, anything goes pala dito Kaya it's very important for us to bring back the standards and safeguards and all. Yeah. No one is perfect, but there's a minimum level of I know, di ba? Propriety and standard and professionalism na expected.
You know, Richard, tama ka doon. Ang inaasahan ko nga that kung makalusot tayo dito sa Duterte era at hindi na makabalik si Sara Duterte, sana bumalik tayo sa maayos na diskurso sa mundo ng politika. Yung umabot tayo ulit sa panahon ni na Jovito Salonga, ni na Blas Ople, sina Flavier, yung when you get up there as a senator, you are honorable and you will debate. At makipagdebate tayo sa tamang paraan at we can disagree on mga how to run things and even ideologies, pero we disagree on the actual ideas, the thoughts, not on the people. Pag bumalik tayo sa ganung punto, lalong lalakas ang demokrasya natin. Kasi when you do that, china-challenge lang natin yung mga ideas natin to make each other's ideas stronger. And the stronger idea will be the one that will be the dominant idea. Ngayon kasi umabot tayo sa pababaan Yung umabot tayo sa pagmumura, sa pag-iinsulto, mga ad hominem. Ganun na lang tayo ngayon. At ang baba na ng diskurso natin at bumababa ang ating moralidad, the moral compass of the people. So ngayon, ang problema, yung labanan, hindi na about ideas It's about demagogues. It's about these parang godlike figures na sinusuportahan ng mga tao. And if you're against it, you're against everyone. And we talk about killings. Ganun na yun eh. Yun ang inaasahan natin dito. And that's why I agree with you on that. I think we will get there, Richard. If the right candidate wins, mababalik natin yan. Kasi even the BBM supporters, by the way, alam mo, I've talked to a few of them. We've talked to a few of them. Sabi nga namin, listen, we disagree on a lot of things. Pag mawala na the insanity and the existential threat of the Dutertes, we'll disagree again and we will do it in a way na yung tamang pamamaraan na pagdedebate. Di ba? Ganon.
We're kind of doing that in a way, no? Kaya nga sabi ko yung kapal ng mocks na nakita ko doon sa iba, sabi ko, well, it looks like it's 80% inspiration, 20% perspiration or something like that. I don't know what is the business model on the other side of the fence. Pero sabi ko, hindi pwede na umasa lang tayo na dahil feeling natin, credible tayo, may alam tayo, people will come to us. You have to meet people where they are. Diba? Mahalaga talaga yan in terms of public communications. At sa tingin ko, nagkulang tayo, especially some of us who have been in the media industry, in your case, even showbiz industry, parang, andyan na tayo, ganun. Hindi, you have to reach out to people. So ako naman, demagogues, populists, grifters, whatever, if you want to defeat your enemy, you have to learn some tricks from them and then use it against them for the good cause, diba?
Absolutely. And by the way, Richard, like for me lang, I don't consider naman myself parang any better than anyone else out there. Ang pinagkaiba lang natin siguro ay, para sa akin, at least pag ako to, ay ano lang ako, I'm opinionated. And I will defend my opinion. I will speak out pag may nakita akong mali. That's my opinion. And I can be wrong. I'm not always correct. Nobody is 100% correct. And what I encourage people to do is to learn to be able to be better critical thinkers. Yun eh. Yun yung nawawala eh. And I love what's happening now. Dumadami na nga eh. Yung critical thinkers. Have you noticed na kahit ngayon na hindi tayo nagsasalita, makikita mo the way people, paano sila sumagot sa mga komento, nakikita na nila yung mga butas at yung mga teatro na ginagawa, yung pambubudol na ginagawa ng mga politiko kumpara sa 2015 na hindi mo nakikita. Ang pinagkaiba lang ngayon ay sa kwentuhan, sa pagkukwento, yung naratibo. Kasi nga, pag tinignan mo, every fact will have two stories. Every time may news, balita, so balita comes out, the news comes out. For example, Franco Babata arrested. O yan. There's always two sides. Extortion or freedom of the press, or extortion or setup. And people will lean one way or the other. So in every issue, every fact, merong mga iba't ibang spectrum of truths that are being peddled para sa mga kababayan natin. Kaya mga viewers, mga Pilipino, mga kababayan, pag hindi kayo nag-iisip ng tama at tanggap lang kayo ng tanggap ng mga naratibo na naririnig nyo, na wala kayong sariling pananaw, mabubudol talaga kayo. Yun ang pinagkaiba ngayon kumpara back then.
Exactly. I think we can move on na kasi baka matuwa masyadong iba na pinag-usapan natin sila.
Oo nga eh.
Ngayon na nga lang sila sumikat. But I just wanted to get this out of the way kasi may mga nagtatag, di ba kasi may debate sila, Jez at saka yung mga yon, di ba? So, and then so parang I think just for people to know, ano yung context ng sinasabi natin when we say we know these people, di ba? It's not that kaibigan natin in a kaibigan sense, but in a sense that we have had interactions with them, we know what's their modus operandi. So just to clear the air, so I just wanted that to be done and get out of the way. Now, bro, tell me if I'm wrong, bro. Feel ko si General Torre medyo nawala sa circulation. Right? Compared to what we're expecting. And for me, I think we need perfectly someone like General Torre right now because ang worry ko ngayon is bantag ang mangyari dito. Inamin naman ng DILG na they're looking at a 10,000 strong force, no, to go after Bato. I saw the warrant of arrest. Matagal na, alam ko na there is a warrant of arrest. Obviously, ICC will not openly say it until everything is done and dusted. That's how it works. So huwag kayong umasa sa ICC to confirm it. It defeats the whole purpose. Logistics yan, intel yan. Everyone knows with the Duterte one, it was so difficult and last minute, medyo sumerte, gumana yung counterintelligence and all. So if people want to know more about it, check out yung interview ko with Senator Trillanes about yung counterintelligence and operational details to the degree that we could share publicly na paano nahuli si Digong. So kung umaasa kayo na ICC will confirm it, no, you're looking at the wrong way. Look at the signs, look at the smoke, right? There's definitely fire there. But ang worry ko kasi baka mabantag yan. Remember with Bantag, kailan pa
Yep.
yung Bantag? Hindi pa rin nahuli. And by the way, of course, malapit yan sa puso natin dahil ang biktima doon, allegedly victim niya, is isa sa mga kaibigan natin. In fact, let's be honest, bro. I mean, in fairness to Percy Fire, 'di ba, yung kanyang show. I mean,
Yep.
that was really the beginning of this kind of expose style vlogging journalism, real journalism.
Yeah. Alam mo, Percy Lapid really opened the doors for a lot of us vloggers. It was that time na wala masyadong nagsasalita. He was one of the fierce ones and he was silenced. And ngayon ang nakakalungkot dito is hindi na nga napag-uusapan si Bantag. Kahit na nga si John Vic Remulla and DILG Chief John Vic Remulla, if you're listening, sa akin, binanggit mo lahat ng mga pangalan Zaldico, sinabi mo Harry Roque, si Atong Ang, nakalimutan po niyo si Bantag. At sana talaga huliin na nyo kasi alam naman nila kung nasaan to si Bantag. Hindi ko maintindihan kung gaano ba makapangyarihan ang mga nasa likod ni Bantag na hindi nila siya mahuli. Alam nila kung nasaan siya pero ayaw nilang huliin. Hindi sa hindi kaya, ayaw. So yun ang nakakalungkot dito. At tama ka talaga naman na sana mabigyan natin ng ilaw ulit itong issue na to, yung kay Bantag. Number one. Number two, si General Torre naman, kasi Richard, alam mo, when it comes to the position kasi of an MMDA General Manager, Metro Manila wide lang yan Kaya hindi siya masyado sa spotlight because Metro Manila and his responsibilities kasi are not high-profile responsibilities. It's traffic, waste management, flood control, di ba? Mga ganun yan pero hindi siya yung mga issue na talagang siguro nakakainit ng ulo ng mga tao o kaya may mahanap ka talagang malaking problema dito sa trabaho ni General Torre. So maybe the reason he was placed there was maybe to make him low-key, I don't know, but maybe he could elevate the job and the work to make it more impactful to people in Metro Manila.
And I hope people don't forget. Again, obviously, General Torre was the face of the operations. There were so many people involved, including from different branches of the armed forces, hindi lang kapulisan natin. So I want to give credit to everyone. Obviously, yung iba hindi nila pwede gawin yan publicly. I mean, they cannot be recognized publicly. But nevertheless, grabing risk factor, di ba? Kay General Torre,
Oh, yeah.
from the Kibuloy, parang SMNI, PGMN, parang may common traits, no? Na huli. Anyway, and then of course with Digong and all, grabe the risk that he took. I just hope people don't forget that kasi may tendency talaga tayo na may 12-second fame, heroism, and then kakalimutan ng tao sino mga nasakripisyo. Buti nga kay Senator Trillanes, so he kept in the circulation. And ngayon, na-vindicate talaga lahat ng mga sinasabi niya sa AMLA, sa mga bank records, etc. So that people don't forget the risk he has been taking for the past decade or so. Just on the Duterte question, forget about yung expose niya against Tita Arroyo and other folks. No, I want to go back to this kasi as we speak, I mean, this is another sign na talagang nagpa-panic mode na yung DDS camp. Senator, ito gusto niya lumayas sana, hindi pa rin lumalayas. Si Padilla, no? Si Robin, sabi niya, don't come out. Kay Bato, wag ka na lumabas. Why would you say that? Tapos sabi niya, if I will surrender Bato, betrayal ito kay Bonifacio. Tapos andun pa rin yung kanyang bigote, no? Grabe talaga tong... What's your take there?
Kay Bato in particular, or with the
Bato
Senate?
and this whole shamelessness of the pro Duterte camp,
Okay.
Senate, na basically shield sila ni Bato and Sara and all of the people
Right.
accused of really, really high crimes.
Okay. Sige, so let's start with Bato de la Rosa. First of all, Bato de la Rosa, nakakaiya ka talaga. Sumusweldo ka ng lampas 300,000 a month. Tapos hindi ka malang sumipot sa trabaho mo habang yung buong Pilipinas naghihirap dito sa krisis na meron natin. Malala itong krisis na ito. Sobrang taas na ng kuryente, ng gasolina, ng bilihin, bagsak ang peso, tapos yan ka, nagpapasweldo ka ng ganyang kalaki na hindi ka nagtatrabaho. So, yan ang una. Number one. Number two, pag pinag-usapan natin yung issue na pag-shield ng mga DDS senators kay Bato at sa mga Duterte, napakalala ang problema dahil tignan mo yung ginagawa nitong mga senador na to ngayon na narinig na natin ngayon, Richard, yung balita na they're planning to have a coup this week napalitan ang Senate leadership. Bakit? Kasi on Monday, eto na, we are going to get the plenary vote, and that plenary vote will not convict, will impeach Sara Duterte. By how much? Yun ang pustahan namin ni Ronald. Sabi ni Ronald 220, sabi ko bakit under 200? Let's see. If it's 220,
Wait!
ako
May pusta kayo, hindi kayo nag-imbita. Yung pusta namin ni Ronald, kay Zaldico at saka kay Harry, muntik na usapan. Yung pala, nag-check-in, nag-check out.
wala ka naman dito kasi para mangolekta kung sino matatalo at manalo. So,
Excuse
pero
me, may Bitcoin kami, may Bitcoin.
Hindi, pero alam mo, yun ang yun ang nakikita ko strategy ng mga senador na to ngayon is to be able to grab the Senate presidency para sa ganon, they will now delay the forthwith of the trial. Ayan na naman tayo. Not even delay. Probably archive it again like they did the last time. Which is illegal. There is nothing in the law that says they can do that. And yan ang balak nila gawin kung manalo sila dito sa coup na to. But kung manalo to, I guarantee you, magwawala ang taong bayan if they even try this. There will be an uproar. I can't imagine the people are gonna just accept this pag ginawa to ng mga senador na yon. Ngayon, ang isa pang strategy na ginagawa ni Sara Duterte na narinig ko ngayon ay baka mag-resign daw siya kung nakita niya na first nakapasa na to sa plenaryo, tapos biglang hindi nakuha yung Senate leadership na gusto nila, baka mag-resign to si Sara Duterte. Dahil ang iniisip niya, pwedeng strategy is, pag nag-resign na siya, then the more it gives the Duterte faction, senators, reason to say na, wag na nating ituloy. Nag-resign na rin naman eh. Yun naman ang gusto natin mangyari, di ba? Mag-resign. Tanggalin sa trabaho para maprotektahan ang kaban ng bayan. O nangyari na. Umalis na yung tao. Tigil na natin itong pagpaparusa. Let's get on with nation building, with the economy, with the crisis. Yun na lang kasi kasuhin natin. That will be the narrative that they're going to push. The scary part is, baka they convince the others to jump along.
Yun nga, sa Senate, ano bang expectation natin? Kasi may antena naman yung mga kaibigan natin, di ba? What will be different this time from last year? Sa bagay, medyo na-predict din natin, di ba? Yung dun sa bahay mo, di ba? Yung shooting natin last month. Sabi natin, this time will be different dahil may mga bank accounts and all na involved. And I saw some of the medyo trapo-ish congressman there na pati sila sabi na dun sa mga articles of impeachment, I think 4, yung pinaka-convincing sa kanila, yung bank accounts eh. Yun yung parang in your face eh. So do we think this time is gonna be different? Not to mention meron kang katulad ni Senator Lacson na sabi nila ibablock na nila yung mga attempts na ulitin na naman yung mga kalokohan na ginawang last year para hindi ma-forthwith ito.
Yeah, Richard, remember that tama yung sinabi mo na these senators are not blind or deaf to the voice of the people. As a matter of fact, sensitive sila sa boses ng taong bayan. Gaano ka sensitive? Mig Zubiri commissioned that presidential survey to see kung ano ang pulso ng taong bayan, ng ating mga kababayan pagdating sa pagpili ng presidente. Kaya ginagawa niya yan dahil dyan sa magdedesisyon kung susuportahan niya yung impeachment o hindi at kung saan siya papanig. Kasi alalahanin na itong mga senador, unfortunately, ito ang realidad na hinaharap natin. Most of them are self-serving. Not all, but most of them are self-serving rather than serving the interest ng ating bansa. Yun. Kaya dahil doon, gagawin nila kung anong tingin nila, kung saan ang ihip ng hangin at kung saan pupunta o kung saan ang pananaw ng mga kababayan natin. Kaya importante itong ginagawa natin. Number one, para marinig ng mga senador, yung mga nakikita natin at na malaman nila na alam natin ang ginagawa nila. Number one. Number two, para sa mga kababayan natin, para lalo pang ma-realize nila kung ano ba ang mga iba't ibang mga posisyon dito, mga iba't ibang pananaw at ano yung tamang pananaw. At least binibigyan natin ng option. Yun yung yun yung important sa trabaho natin, Richard. Kasi the news will always be or try to be neutral. That word is overused. But but we give insight. We give perspective. Yun ang pagkakaiba.
Kaso may maleta yung iba.
Ayun.
Sarap buhay yung iba, tapang tayo zoom lang yung budget na. Pero mahal people have to realize yung mga ganyan production. Alam ko kachipangan at saka napaka pretentious yung mga ginagawa ng kaibigan natin. But in fairness, my staff, my production, people have to realize, maybe we have to make our own, media company. Kasi yun nga, mahal eh. Tsaka wala naman mali.
Yeah, actually, hindi naman ganun kamahal gawin yon. Although it'll cost some money, parang, for example, I mean, kahit naman si Christian, meron siyang team na nag-handle ng mga editing niya, ng
And
mga graphics niya.
Si Lodian talagang pro na pro yan.
Yeah, so
He's an expert himself.
so may mga ganun naman. So hindi siya ganun kahirap. Kailangan mo lang naman talaga ng camera, ng mic, ng ilaw. Tapos started na eh. I mean, if you look at naman PGM and paano sila nag-umpisa, ganun din naman yun eh. Ang pinagkaiba lang talaga ay talaga dedicated. May dedicated na tao na nagpapatakbo. Yun ang importante. Ngayon, yung mga iba't ibang mga vloggers at grupo na nakikita natin dyan sa palipaligid, ang dami mga ilang grupo na nagsabi that they wanted to start a network, even us. It's a question of talagang putting it together and the more the merrier. Para sa akin, kung may 5 lumabas out of this, great. Di ba? And there's more than enough for everyone in terms of audience share. So why not? Let's go for it.
I believe in competition, no? Cooperative competition. I mean, it's healthy competition is always good, but cooperation is also better, right? Especially kung mga like-minded people come together. So ito yung Quadcom natin, nakachipangan ng Zoom lang ginagawa natin. Hopefully this is beginning of something, and of course, no, pag-usapan natin towards the end, we're itong plans natin for having more in-person interaction dun sa mga kaibigan natin. Last part, pag-usapan natin, bro, hindi ako nag-ping dahil doon, but so nung isang time na nag-Quadcom tayo, basically ang proposal ko, and I felt it was very reasonable naman, which is whatever Lenny does, I hope she endorses a proper process to choose sinong standard bearer. And I think everyone can agree with that, wala namang mali. Yung tamang proseso na para may legitimacy kung sinong maging mapipili ng ating mga kaibigan sa Sambayan, sa civil society groups bilang talagang representatibo ng mga progressive at center forces, no? Hindi na natin sabihin na anti-Duterte forces sa darating na election. Having said that, since that conversation, I've noticed na parang this is from interactions with Senator Kiko online and all, and with of course interviews with Justice Carpio, multiple ones. Mukhang ang game plan talaga is wag na tayo manggulo dito. Mukhang Lenny na yan. And then of course you have Vice Ganda also basically telling ma'am, baka naman, di ba? And kami ni Ronald, we have been saying this, single digit na lang actually in difference if it really goes down to one-on-one and if mag-unify talaga yung other forces. So, do you think, bro, we're at a stage na Lenny na talaga, she's really the best if not only one na may rallying point? And before we answer that, pwede natin balikan, bro, kasi I got to know about you nung mga vlogs mo from 2022. Can you tell us from your reading how special that was? Kasi binabalikan ko yung mga video from 2022 sa Pasig, sa Rojas Boulevard. Bro, that was special. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I've been in Hong Kong protests. I've been in protests all around the world. But to see that in my own country na milyon-milyon sa ating mga kababayan, taos puso, di ba? Walang bayaran.
Yep.
Ginawa nila yan. That makes me really, syempre, hindi lang talaga meant to be known kasi nagsama yung mga, alam mo naman, team kasamaan, kadiliman. But this time, it's gonna be different. This time, it looks like the stars are aligning for the real good forces to come on top.
Yeah. So in 2022, Richard, alam mo yung nangyari doon. There was I keep referring to it as the Great Awakening. Yung parang nagising yung taong bayan. It was incredible. Kasi remember, I've been doing these vlogs since 2018. So ang nagbago lang, I spoke Tagalog, yun ang isang nagbago. Pero aside from that, nakita ko yung interest ng taong bayan maghanap ng alternatibong boses aside from the propaganda na nakukuha nila at yung misinformation at disinformation. Na nung time na yun, na-realize siya, panay gaguhan ng pinapalabas na tong presidente to Di ba yung mga late night press cons niya na nakakairita na, irita ka na and you're like, this guy is talking nonsense. Tapos pinasuot pa tayo ng face shield. And then nung lumabas sa yung mga videos ko, nakarinig sila ng alternatibong boses na nakaka-relate ang tao bayan. Sabi nila, oh, this guy makes sense. Oh, that's what I believe. Oh, that's what I think. Yan ang pakiramdam ko. Yan ang naniniwala ko dyan. And then nakita ko, nag-umpisa na yan, si Christian, ako, sabay kami nung time na yan. Ako, Christian Percy, yun ang mga nakita kong nauna nun eh. So, yun nung nakita ko nung 2022 is I'm seeing it again now. But, here is yung parang warning. As much as I see it now, the forces that are trying to um, deceive us, yung mga sumusubok manlinlang natin mga kababayan ay mas malakas para makontra yung ating naratibo. Yun yung ginagawa nila. Kaya doon tayo kailangan mag-ingay, tama, at mag-ingat. Huwag tayong maging complacent dito at kahit sabihin ng mga DDS na, bakit ba palagi si Duterte pinag-uusapan nyo? Kasi dahil sa inyo, kayo mga trolls. Dahil ang ingay nyo na nagpapakalat ng mga maling impormasyon, pinapabango ang pangalan at imahe ng iniidolo nyo. As long as you keep doing that, we will be here to counter all of that. And yes, talagang sila lang ang pinag-uusapan aside from the corruption at yung mga iba pang importanteng issue dahil doon. Yun yun.
And here we are, 2026, 2 years removed from election day. This time feels different, bro. This time talaga looks like the stars align. Knock on the wood, diba? Obviously, sabi ko nga kay Justice Carpio, be careful what you wish for. Baka mag-resign si Sara, hindi na tatakbo. Next thing you know, Omar Duterte ang ano natin. But, diba? I mean, you never know. Basti, Omar, kung sinong pwedeng tumakbo dyan. You never know. I never underestimate yung capacity ng mga kaibigan natin to vote for the wrong people. But having said that, this time feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Right now, nakikita mo na maraming mga Duterte supporters, dating Duterte supporters are now shifting sides. And not only that, just to go back to the PGMN saga, just because this is relevant to what you asked, the anchors are now moving away. Yung mga hindi political anchors nila are distancing themselves sa PGMN. Nakita ko yung mga ilan sa kanila nag-post saying na, we don't know anything about that. I'm just an anchor.
Bro, kasama ba dito yung driving instructor? Ay, sorry, yung expert sa sa driving. Yan. James.
Wala pa siyang nilabas sa statement tungkol dito, pero yung ilan meron na nakita ko. At saka hindi lang yon, pati din yung mga ibang DDS trolls ay dinidisown si Franco. At yun na nga, pinapalabas sila. Hindi, BBM yan eh. Kung BBM talaga si Franco, bakit nila sinasabing hinahabol lang ni BBM yung mga kalaban niya? That doesn't make sense, di ba? So, sira yung naratibo nila, but that's what they're trying to do.
Pero it
Everyone's
makes sense,
distancing.
bakit? Kasi unit team to mga to.
Oo nga.
They did it all both ways.
Yeah, that's true. Pero Richard, at the same time, I also see, kaya alam kong humihina na ang mga Duterte, maingay yung mga trolls, pero mahina na dahil mismo yung mga trolls si Duterte ay nagpapanggap na pink. Tulad ni Guanzo na nagpapanggap na pink. Tulad ni Erice na nagpapanggap na pink. Pero pag pinakinggan mo yung mga lumalabas sa bibig nila, parang, ay nako, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, it must be a duck.
Parang may narinig akong, yung Levista kaibigan natin, going
Ayun.
from great to greats.
Ay nako, si Leviste, isa pa pala yun. Pero yung si Leviste, honest, I mean, for me, kudos to him na at least umamin siya na DDS siya, di ba? Dati na daw siya DDS. Alam mo, kung gusto ko makipag-debate dyan sa batang yan. Tingnan ko ako anong meron niya. Kasi pinapalabas niya na he's his boy,
Live.
Genius.
Levista Jr. Bayanin ng mga DDS. Open kami to.
Oo, parang pinapalabas sila na siya yung hero ng mga DDS. Please. I just did a piece on him on Facebook. Nilabas ko lang ngayon. Nakakahiya yung ginawa niyang, privilege speech ba yung ginawa niya? Na kumbaga nag-rant siya talking about a gazillion topics na hindi mo na maintindihan. Ano ba pinag-uusapan natin dito? Ano to, rant session? So, nangyari dito, I'll point out 3 things na binanggit niya. Kasi marami siya sinabi, but the 3 things that stood out. Number 1, inakusa niya si Recto at saka si Guardiola, na Guardiola funded Recto's, Vilma Santos and Lucky Manzano's campaign for 1 billion pesos and other Batangas candidates for another 1 billion. So 2 billion in total. Yun ang accusation niya. Okay? And the ironic thing is, a few moments later, JJ Suarez says to him, magkano ba ginastos mo sa kampanya mo? Leviste goes, pinupost ko naman lahat yan eh. Lahat yan, open naman ako. Wala naman akong tinatago eh. O magkano nga? 6 billion. Gumastos ka ng 6 billion sa kampanya? Hindi. Hindi sa kampanya. Before the campaign. Gumastos ka ng 6 billion before the campaign. Yes, for school supplies, relief, all of that, sarili kong pera to. And I'm not hiding it. O tapos, ginawa ko din yan after ako nanalo. So ginawa mo nga yan. So, yan ang ginastos mo sa kampanya mo. And then, you could tell he was so flustered, he didn't know how to respond because he just made an accusation for 2 billion pesos for multiple candidates. And here he is talking about spending 6 billion, donating 6 billion when before he ran for Congress. The second one was when he said, yan, lahat kayo dito, vote buying. He accused every congressman of vote buying. And long and behold, a few moments later, lumabas yung video niya na namimigay ng 500 pesos sa lahat ng constituents niya. Tawa ako ng tawa, the hypocrisy of this boy. Para sabihin na, kayong corrupt, hindi ako. You vote by, not me. Na, in that same privilege speech, na sermon na tuloy siya ni Manay Laila de Lima. Na sinabi ni Manay Laila sa kanya, I want you to withdraw that. It's been stricken from the records. I don't want it stricken. I want you to withdraw it. Hanggang napasori siya. Sabi niya, I take back what I said. Maraming mababait na kongresista. May ilan lang na nag-vote buying. Ang dapat sinabi niya, may ilan lang na nag-vote buying kasama ko, katulad ko. Dapat yun ang sinabi niya. Otherwise, pure hypocrisy.
Medyo hindi siya quick. No? Medyo, minsan
Medyo.
Ano yung pinost niya kay Recto? Hindi ko naintindihan. Ano ba yung AI ba yan? Ano ba yun?
Ay, yun na nga, di ba? Tapos kina-claim nga niya na, oo, kasama siya sa meeting. And then he posts what an AI, will look like an AI photo. I don't know if that's a real photo. Sure, he could have had that dinner. Baka there was no photo. Di ba? Yun na nga eh.
So what kung nag-dinner? Kaya sabi ni Recto, baliw to.
Oo nga, sinabi ni Recto baliw, tapos tawag-tawa naman ako kay Leviste. Pinatulan naman yung baliw na remark. Sabi niya, baliw na ako. Sige, kung tingin mo baliw ako, pero at least hindi ako nagnanakaw daw or something. I'm like, pero pinapatulan mo pa ba yan? Grabe talaga. Kaya buti talaga pinashut up siya ng mga iba't ibang mga liderato ng ating kongreso. Kasi kung hindi, he will take up the time just to be ranting na walang pruweba. No evidence. Alam mo, if he was going to do that, lahat ng kinuwento niya was last year. Bakit hindi siya nagsampa ng kahit na isang kaso? And not just kaso, by the way. Bakit 17 lang ang na-file niya na bills? Ha? Walang kwenta talagang kongresista yan. Nagsasayang ng oras yan. Kumpara sa mga ibang mga kinakalaban niya that have filed hundreds of bills to try to improve our law, improve the Constitution. Di ba?
Well, in fairness naman, wala kasi meow-meow eh. Kaya he has to fill in the gap eh. Kailangan ng you have to keep the journey, the struggle going on. Pero last point, bro. So what about Lenny again? Like, do you think na it's gonna be very hard to replicate the Lenny support if ever hindi na si Lenny yan? And do you think na magpapalit isip yan si Lenny since 2 years pa naman natira? And rightly naman, in fairness to Ma'am Lenny, she has every reason not want to take her time forever, but to give it a proper time while doing her duty. But every day, panalo si Lenny eh. All this good news about napakagaling niyang mayor sa, di ba? Like parang everyday makita mo anong pwede mangyari at the national level in terms of reforms, good governance. All the stars align. Kaya nga, protect Lenny na ako ngayon. Protect Lenny eh. She's, talaga grabe, no? I think she's almost half a shoe in. And then I say that it's mahalaga yan because it looks like Sarah's loss is automatically almost Lenny's gain.
Yes.
Again,
yes.
assuming there's no Tulfo in the picture. Obviously, if Tulfo is in the picture, then medyo complicated na yan. But Sarah's loss is Lenny's game. And Sarah losing more support is not completely impossible, given everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that the surveys were made before all of this came out, all of the evidence came out. So yung pa lang tells you where it's going. Number two, when it comes to Lenny Robredo, alam mo sa akin, let's not lose hope. But at the same time, yun yung sinasabi natin, sana may divine intervention. Because Lenny seems to be very set on not running. Pero at the same time, kung naniniwala ka sa, kung naniniwala si Lenny sa Diyos, ayan, yung sa calling natin, purpose natin sa buhay natin, ano ba, what are we called to do? At kung nagdadasal siya, baka magpakita sa kanya yung Panginoon at sabihin sa kanya na, hoy, huwag mong iwasan ang tawag, ang healing ng bayan. Ito na yon. Sinahanap ka, kailangan mo gawin yung kailangan mo gawin. Alam kong ayaw mo, may PTSD ka na sa last campaign at nakakapagod talaga. Pero,
100%. By the way, let's be clear about it. Napakahirap tumakbong presidente. Lalo na ng kalaban mo, unit team. Imagine all the stress. And lalo na 6 years na VP ka ni Digong at tumakbo ka laban kay BBM. So I don't
Yeah.
think many people have a right to even say na gets nila yung level of stress nila. Hindi. It takes a Herculean effort.
yes, it does. And now, I'm glad you mentioned that kasi ang maganda, tignan mo back then. Look at it today. Okay, wala nang unit team. BBM and the loyalists will ABS sila. Anyone but Sara sila ngayon. And the machinery, I believe, silently in the back will push for Lenny. A lot of people na nakikita na nila na ayaw nila ng Duterte presidency. And mind you, by the way, Richard, kahit tinignan mo yung Okta research, pag tinignan mo based on region, si Sara ay ahead lang sa Mindanao. Sorry, Luzon, is she ahead in Luzon? Parang hindi, parang pantay sila if I remember correctly.
I'll say siya sa NCR medyo close. But actually in Luzon, balance Luzon, Lenny's way ahead na.
Oh, yan, exactly. And then Visayas. Visayas, Lenny is ahead according to the Okta research sa Visayas. Guess who's number 2 in Visayas? Undecided. Number 3 si Sara. Ganun kalayo yung ranking niya at yung ano niya sa polling pagdating sa Visayas. So that tells you that Lenny has a big chunk to go. Sara has nowhere to go but down. In the Visayas, in Luzon, Mindanao yung stronghold niya na malakas. Pero Richard, kasi ito, tinanong ko na nga si Professor Ranjit tungkol dito eh. Kasi pag tinignan mo, if you base the data on the regions, for example, Mindanao, I'll give you Mindanao as an example, 88% si Sara. But the margin of error is not 3%. Alam mo ba kung ano yung margin of error? You want to take a guess?
What, 5% and more? Ano ba yan?
Nope. 13% margin of error.
I need to see the methodology nila. Bakit
Yeah.
margin of error nila?
Okay, because the logic behind it is...
Ba yan?
Yes, because of the sampling size. Because remember, 1,200 yung total sampling size mo ng buong Pilipinas. So when you break it down per region, pataas ang pataas yung margin of error kasi palit na palit yung sample size per area. So sa Mindanao, I don't know the exact number, but let's say it's 300 people that you're sampling, right? That's your sample size. And then you break it down per region in Mindanao. And then pataas ang pataas yung margin of error. So pag tinignan mo, and you ask the question, is a 300 person sample size good enough for Mindanao with a margin of error of 13% or more? Then it begs the question of maybe somebody should do a survey just on Mindanao with a higher sample size, just on Visayas, higher sample size, just on Luzon with a higher sample size. Para sa ganun, makakuha ka na mas accurate na results.
Actually, parang Mindanao lang, kailangan mo na maraming survey dyan kasi it looks like it goes down talaga to Mindanao eh. If Sara holds on to that large number, it's gonna make it very, very difficult, diba? But if it's much more variegated, kumbaga, then it's gonna get interesting. Of course, ingat ako with what I'm saying kasi there's 7 cities na persona non grata pa rin ako dyan, but I hope I can do a sampling. On that note, bro, thank you so much. This was fantastic. So, paki-remind natin sa mga tao na may mga ano naman tayo, hindi naman tayo 300 million level, pero kahit pa paano may mga ambition din tayo sa buhay na mag in-person events tayo and all. Hindi naman yung PGMN level of sophistication and production. So, anong plano natin, bro? You wanna remind people?
Yeah, so sa ating mga viewers, kung gusto niyo kami tulungan, we want to be able to do in-person na podcasts para maharap natin yung mga impormasyon na to and magkaroon tayo ng magandang usapan, back and forth na usapan at magdala tayo ng mga kaibigan natin, whether kaalyado o hindi, para lalo mas marami pang mga kababayan natin na makakita ng mga ganitong klaseng impormasyon. So with that call, kung you own a hotel, a school, you have a venue, tapos you can organize the event to bring in people. We would be happy to go to all of these places all over the Philippines. So hit us up. You have Richard's email or my email. Tapos kung
How can
maka-organize
they
kayo
reach
sa
you
lugar
ba?
nyo.
How can they reach you ba?
Ha?
How can they reach you? Ikaw yung boss namin eh.
Just on my YouTube or my Facebook, you can email me at coachkristan@gmail.com. Yan ang best way to do it para makita na mababasa natin yan pagdating doon.
Alright, thank you so much bro. Maraming salamat for making time for us. Mabuhay ka, more power to you bro. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Looking forward to more of exposés at mga kakaibang pangyari sa... Baka next thing I know, mabanta na yung guest mo ah.
I doubt it.
Pero si Falsis, I won't be surprised next thing I know.
Oo
Bigla.
nga. Yes, tingnan natin.
Panalo tong kaibigan natin tsaka si Mark Gamboa, ang enemy, friends to all, enemy to none. So,
Yes, exactly si
makalusot din
Mark.
yung kaibigan natin dyan. Salamat bro, have a lovely weekend and talk to you soon and see you soon. Looking forward to our event together. God bless.